Hi, welcome to Rainy Tuesdays. Today I'm here with my mom.
Hi.
And me. This is a podcast by Friends for Friends. That's the thing we say.
And you're Margaux.
I'm Margaux.
And I'm Allie.
I would feel really weird calling you that. I know other people shouldn't, because that's your name.
True, I just don't want people to go, Margaux's mom.
Right, no,
like
that's
when you
fair.
were 5.
Yeah, I get that. I recently had a friend visit, and she was asking what she should call you. And she was like, Margaux's mom? And I was like, maybe not that one. Maybe Sally.
That works.
I was like, if you want to make her feel really old, like, you could do the miss. Like,
No.
ma'am.
Ma'am. I don't necessarily mind ma'am.
You don't mind ma'am?
Not really. I mean, it's just a polite thing.
I'm the opposite. I think ma'am makes me feel old, but miss makes me feel young. Like, I'm fine with miss. When, like, little kids call me, like, Miss Margaux or something.
Yeah, I mean, Miss doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, none of the names
Really?
bother me really.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, although I've signed Ms. MS.
Yeah.
Since I was very young.
Very young. Oh my god. We also have a cat.
This is Merlin.
Who may or may not be causing chaos throughout this. Yeah, probably will be.
Well, he thinks if I get to be a guest, he does too.
For sure. We do have a video version on Spotify and on YouTube in which you can see my cat's ass for free. Anyway, how's it been going?
It's going well.
Yeah.
We're filming on Thanksgiving, so it's been a
Yes,
lovely day.
It's a little holiday filming.
Yes.
Yeah. Kind of a crazy day.
Yeah.
We're doing multiple Thanksgivings to like host people, but also just have our own little family ones.
Absolutely.
But it being Thanksgiving,
Yes,
it is the beginning of holiday season.
it is.
What do
Fall
holidays bring?
Gifts.
Gifts.
And gift giving.
Gift giving.
And gift receiving.
Yes. Yeah. So we're going to talk all things gifts. It's going to be just like the ultimate guide to like gifts in general, but also like fun gifts to get maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Like
True philosophy of gifts a little.
Philosophy of gifts. Just to kick us off, what is like the best gift you've ever received? No pressure.
No pressure. Well, I mean, you know, mom-wise,
Right.
the two of you,
Uh-huh.
that would be the best gift ever.
Kind of bullshit because you like gave that to yourself, I guess.
Something like science, the stork. But no, the best gift I ever received was a birthday present.
Okay.
And it was back in college.
Uh-huh.
And my sweetheart at the time was not not a wealthy man.
Sure.
First thing, it was like a total rainstorm.
Yeah.
Which I love on my birthdays because I'm in the middle of the
This is
summer.
Rainy Tuesdays. We love rain in general.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was a rainy day.
Mm-hmm.
I won't swear to it being a Tuesday,
Well,
but it was in the middle of August.
when I was born.
Exactly. We'll say it was a Tuesday in August.
For fun, yeah.
For fun. And didn't have a lot of money.
Uh-huh.
He got a single rose, a bunch of farmer's market strawberries with sugar to dip them in, and a movie. And so with the rain pouring all around, we watched this really cool movie that we wanted to see. He'd, back in the days of Blockbuster.
Sure.
He'd gone to Blockbuster and gotten this really cool movie that we wanted to see. And he'd gotten a cheap champagne. So he had champagne and strawberries.
Yeah.
and that one red rose.
I think that's adorable. Yeah.
That was one of the best. I mean, it was so creative.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's cliched in some ways, but at the same time, it was very creative, and it was perfect atmosphere.
Mm.
And so it was like one of the best gifts I've ever gotten.
Yeah, I think that's really
so.
Yeah.
What about you?
You got me a lightsaber. It was cool. I like lightsabers.
You were very excited by that.
It is cool. It's got a coupler release, and it's like a staff or two.
Mm-hmm.
Sick. But if we're thinking like any others other than me just being like a dork,
that's not dorky. That's creative.
It's a little dorky. But I think just letters in general that I've received. Like, and we can get into this too, is that like, I think what makes a really good gift is thought and intention behind it.
Absolutely.
Rather than the actual gift itself.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked before about how sometimes someone will just buy a gift to buy a gift.
Yeah.
And, oh, she likes cooking, so let's just go to the store and grab something.
Something related to food. Like, yeah. So not just like going into the store randomly and saying like, yeah, I guess this is somewhat related to their interests. Like, let's grab that. Right. Yeah. I think that's definitely a big faux pas in gift giving, but like a common one.
Right. Well, I think it's the idea that, I mean, gift giving is like a token of affection and like it has meaning.
Absolutely.
And so I think buying just to buy kind of defeats that purpose.
100%.
Or feeling like you're expected to buy somebody something.
Yes.
And that, oh, I have to keep up with, they spent this much, so I have to spend this much. When you get caught up in that consumerism part of it, I think it takes away from the meaning of gifts.
Definitely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is making me have 5 other questions.
Okay.
Based on things. Mm-hmm. Something that I like to do, if I find something cool, or if I make something cool, but I don't need it.
Right.
Like I have a drawer in my room to just put potential gifts for people.
Right.
I think that's a little bit of a gray area.
Right.
On the because obviously it's not with someone intentionally in mind.
Right.
But I'm also not necessarily going to give it to someone who is not going to appreciate it. If I make extra scrunchies,
right,
I'm not gonna give it to someone who's bald. I'm still gonna.
That would be an entirely different type of resonance on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I think that's. I don't know, because I know I'm not the only person who does that.
Right. Well, I mean, no. If I see something that oh, that is just great.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure for who.
Yeah.
I'll put it in. Knowing me, I'll lose it.
You'll lose it. Yeah.
Yeah, and give it to them
3 years later.
3 years later.
Yeah, maybe not even to the original person you thought. You have an issue with I think it stems from when we were little. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe this has been a lifelong problem for you.
Just tell me.
My theory is that it stems from when we were little, looking for gifts in the home. And you were I've got to hide them well enough. But then sometimes, a squirrel hiding nuts, you hid them too well, and then you can't find them.
I can't find them. It's something like that, okay?
Yeah.
Although I have this great gifting story.
Okay.
From this dear friend of mine. Mm-hmm. When he was a little boy.
Yes.
He wanted to find all the gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And so he started hunting. And he went around and he found the stash. And his mama didn't catch him until there was one box left.
Yeah.
And so Christmas morning, he only had one box to unwrap.
Oh.
And it was a white dress shirt from his grandma.
Yikes. Yeah.
So that was just awful.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's fair. So this is another thing, is like, you, for birthday gifts, you don't like opening them early.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and it's the same with like Christmas gifts,
right,
or like Valentine's Day, or like whatever
right
holiday you might receive gifts for.
Right.
You like to do it on the day specifically.
I do.
Yeah. I'm fine with it. I don't know. People are like different about it.
I just think it makes the day special, and the anticipation.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's just a little something.
Right.
Just that, oh wow, this marks this occasion.
Yeah, definitely.
I think is where that comes from with me.
That's fair. I mean, I think like it also stems into we've been talking about like love languages, and like how we receive love kind of thing, or how we want to receive love, I guess, is an important distinction. But for me, it goes words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, gift giving, physical touch.
Right.
Like from highest to lowest in priority. Yeah. And yours is a little different.
Yeah, mine is words of affirmation, touch, quality time, acts of service, and gifts.
And gifts is last. And so, like, one result of that, because mine's a little, like, I guess my gift giving one is higher. Maybe that's like a reason I'm fine with it, like
being anytime.
Yeah, versus you're like only on these specific days.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'd rather hear, poems or somebody say something or get a phone call.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. And I mean, like, there's other aspects to that. In like for words of affirmation being very big for both of us. I know, like, letters, whether it be from like
best
friends or like partners, like whatever.
Yeah,
it's like
cards.
Any,
just some sort of
jotted
down, thinking of you, kind of thing. Well, I mean, that for you is partly because when you were little, I would put notes in your lunchbox just about every day.
Yeah, definitely. Like either notes in my lunchbox or like, I still have like a bunch saved of like things you would like put in books, like just a little card you would put in books that I was reading, kind of things.
Right.
Like, or maybe not books I was reading, but like just somewhere in my life, not just lunchbox. Like I know you did that outside of just school lunches because it would happen during summer too, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, since that, I think, and I think that's one of the reasons why ours are close. I mean, they're not the same, just the same way DNA is not the same, but it's related.
Oh, absolutely.
So some of the things that are important to you are that way because I grew up teaching you that.
100%. Yeah.
So.
And I think that's an important thing too when considering to give someone a gift. Like I have some people in my life who viscerally hate getting gifts.
Right.
Like it's just their least favorite thing in the world. It turns them into being like center of attention and they just do not like it.
I think that's a thing I think that is a skill. One of the nicest things somebody ever did for me was, words of affirmation, like a compliment's a gift too.
Absolutely, yeah.
And one of my friends, I'm still not great at like accepting compliments and kind of things.
Right. No, you're terrible at
it. but
it's not a compliment.
But what she said is that it's just as important how you receive a compliment
as how you give it.
As how you give it. And I think it may be the same thing with gifts. It's something you have to learn the same way.
Absolutely.
I mean, I love to give presents.
You do, yeah.
You're so
very, very uncomfortable getting them.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Or as your sibling has been asking us for a list.
Yeah. Oh God.
And neither one of us has been able to do that. That is the hardest thing.
Banes of my existence since like being a child of you asking like, what's your list? What's your birthday and Christmas list? And I'm like, I don't know. And so like somewhere in high school, I just started saying fuzzy socks.
Right.
Because I like them, and I can't think of anything else.
When I was a little girl, and my mama would ask me that.
Yeah.
I would say a fake sable coat, a diamond tiara, and an armload of roses.
Uh-huh.
And every year, that's what I would write down.
Did you forget it?
No.
I'm so sorry.
I think she took it about as seriously as I did.
Fair. Yeah, I also have like a list on my phone and on my computer, two different ones. On my phone, it's just anything I can think of, like for all the people in my life who I would want to get a gift for. Like, oh, this is a good gift idea for this person. Maybe I can look into that come birthday or holiday. Or like, oh, this is a topic they said they really like, or this is a like their favorite color or flower or something like that whenever they tell me, so that like I always have a reference to look back on. And then on my computer, it's a bit more of like a serious one where it's like I have bookmark folders for like you and like people close to me. From the podcast, Esther's got a folder in there where it's like, oh, like I'm seeing this on Etsy or like on the internet somewhere where I'm like, yes, this is a great idea for them.
I like that because that's more organized than mine.
Thank you. I know what you're about to say.
Well, usually I just have all the bookmarks, or the tabs open, but I've started bookmarking them.
Okay.
And I've got like a gifts folder.
Yeah.
But I don't have them sorted out.
Sure. Yeah.
So I would have to go through and remember
who was this for. Yeah.
Who was this for? But I like sorting it that way.
It's
a lot
nice.
Better.
It's organized, and then it's also not like a cram session at the end of the year to figure out things for everyone that I want to figure things out for. It's just a like, oh, like I want to get a gift for this person. I've got ideas. Let's look at those.
Yeah. Well, let's like for I have that same kind of folder in you know how you can have lists in Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I have one of those.
Right.
Except there again it's all bundled together and
sure.
I mean it's fairly
you can tell who you were thinking of for a period of time.
Yeah, well it's fairly distinct.
Yeah.
Between what you would like and what your sister would like.
Right.
Because
different things.
Yeah, it's very different things.
Different people.
Different people.
Yeah.
So, I don't think I would get them confused.
Fair. But, yeah, I don't know. So, do you want to talk a little on like, before we get back into like gift giving practices?
Right.
Some of like the sociology and like background of gift giving and like our culture kind of thing, because I know you had a little research on that.
Gift giving in our culture has been, you know, it's just been a way to mark different occasions and mark in different cultures. You have different ways of accepting gifts. In some cultures, you don't want to receive it with your left hand.
I have like things pulled up, and it's I don't know about receiving, but I know that in India you cannot give it with your left hand.
Right.
and some other ones, and then like in China you want to receive it with
both hands.
Yeah.
And in China and Asian customs is also, you don't accept a gift the first time somebody tries to give it to you.
Sure.
You have to, at least traditional culture, it's one of those things you need to have it sort of pushed on you.
Yes.
It's like you can accept it the third time.
I know that there's a similar thing in some cultures with food.
Yeah.
Where, like, if you're visiting someone's home and they say, like, would you like something to eat? You're supposed to say, like, no, thank you for, like, 2 times. And then the third time you're supposed to accept it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a matter of, you know, there's a difference, like, when somebody's gifting you between being gracious, oh, you know, thank you,
right.
Like full of gratitude, and being greedy, give me more,
right.
and I think that's kind of stems from that practice.
Exactly. Like, I don't know the exact cultural background or like how that came to be, but I do know that like it would make sense if that was like I don't want to presume that you owe me this.
Right.
I just want to I want to show you how gracious you're being to think of me in this way.
Right. And that I recognize it. It's kind of like a mutual, that back and forth of the, you know, incremental, oh, okay, I'll accept it, is sort of showing that you respect that they are making an effort to give it.
Absolutely.
So I think that's, you know, that's a form of, I think that's a sort of ritualized gratitude.
Definitely, for sure. No, yeah, and I think it's a really just nice time. Like, I don't know, there's a bunch of just funny ones. I know that, so there's this in Germany, but I know that this is also true in a lot of like Eastern European countries of the birthday person is the one who pays on their birthday.
Right.
Which, like, here I feel like it's typically a bit opposite.
Right.
Where, like, you're like, oh, it's your birthday, let me take you out to dinner.
Right.
Versus, it's my birthday, rounds on me. Kind of
right.
Thing. Yeah.
Well, I like that. Because
you
I think,
would. I mean, like...
well, I mean, you know, it's like, it's, you know, it's that, it's my party.
Sure.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And these people are being kind enough to come out and celebrate with you, so...
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think, so, like, this is a thing that, like, a lot of my college friends and I, it's very, very, like, I've got this time, you get the next time, kind of, like, pay schedule. Yeah, and it's, like, oh, we're going out to dinner, I'm gonna grab your check for you, kind of thing.
Right.
And then, like, next time, like, mine will be gone. I like that, like, idea where it's not, like, expecting anything necessarily, but it's just, like, a sweet little thing.
Right.
And it's a very balanced thing.
Right. Whereas I tend to feel... that it's more of a, I feel like I'm taking advantage of somebody if I...
And I think that was an adjustment for me. Is at first, like, whenever someone was like, oh, let me get your meal for you, I was like, what? Huh? Like, no, I've got this. Like,
right.
I've got it. But I've like seen, like, oh, and then I get it, kind of thing.
Right.
And it's, like, this very balanced thing.
I like that. It's very...
Yeah. And that's what I like in, like, relationships, too. If it's, like, oh, you took me on a date, now I want to take you on a date, kind of thing.
Right.
And it's nice. But anyway, back to just gifts that aren't just food. Although food is a great gift, and we'll get into that. But I think, like, something a lot of people fall into is the idea of, oh, I need to spend tons of money for gifts. I know you and I are on the same page of, like, that's not it. Like, I hate that.
Well, I mean, that's just consumerism.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's also just, like, it creates this kind of like idea that if you spend a lot of money, you care a lot,
right,
kind of thing. And like not only does that like discount people who like don't have the money to spend like rampantly, but it also is like, well, did you actually think about the gifts, or did you just think about the price tag of the gifts?
Right.
On either the giver or receiver's end,
right,
for people with that mentality. And I think that's just like not the point. Like,
that's like, I have like all these wish list of things, you know, music and books and, you know, things I love.
Yeah.
But I never look at the price of them because I don't think of them in terms of that.
Exactly. Like,
and so if somebody,
read that, like, you're thinking, I want to read that.
I want to read that. I want to, and so when somebody asks me, you know, well, what's something on, you know, your wish list? Mm-hmm. And then they'll, you know, I Google and I look at price. I'm like, oh, I can ask for that because I never even thought about that. I was just thinking about that's a cool experience. That's a cool idea. That's, you know, a cool musical thing.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, like, I don't know, handmade gifts especially, like, really mean a lot to me. Like, once again, front of the podcast is, this is another one of, like, my, like, top tier gifts I will always, like, remember and be grateful for.
Right.
Is, she got just a regular clear shot glass for me, but then she drew on a character from Red Dragon Inn, which is a board game I love a lot.
Yes.
And so she drew the character that I always play on it, from one of the art styles of the cards. And it was just like, that is so incredibly sweet. And it cost her like nothing to do because it was like just a cheap like shot glass. But it meant like everything to me. Because it was like,
and
you
then,
put
and
so
then
much
she took the time and the thought that, okay, this is the character she loves. Let me look up what the character she loves does. Let me. Yeah. I mean, that's fantastic.
Absolutely. And it just like absolutely top tier, like wonderful. Or like I don't know. I really think stuff that's like handmade is just like precious and
yeah, that's sort of like the best gift I ever gave was done like that. One of our friends, when he had his bar mitzvah, I don't know if you remember that.
I think so, yeah.
And I went around and got stories from everybody and then bound it.
Yeah.
You know, typeset it and bound it so that it was, you know, like the requisite number and all that kind of stuff. And for me, that meant, that was, you know, that was like, you know, nobody could have given me a gift that year that was better than the one I gave because that putting that together was perfect.
100%, yeah.
You know, so.
Like, and I think that's just like a nice thing. And I think that's where food comes into play as like a gift is like, something that I was very big on this year for my birthday because I was craving it very badly was like we have foods that we have for like holidays.
Yes, we do.
And I was like, that's what I want for my birthday. I want food. Thank you so much. Like, please make this. Like,
well, I mean, it's fun because, like, for your birthday, it's not a heavy lift to figure that out. As far as if you say, I want my special meal, and my birthday cake, because
I'm a creature of habit.
Your birthday cake has been the same since you were 4.
Yeah, and it's good. But it hits every time. I don't like to tell you.
Yeah.
But no, it's I think food is such a big one.
Yeah.
Because you have to like, I mean, you're also, it's the whole like putting effort into it.
Yeah, and I mean, and doing something like that, there's nothing better than having, like, you know, having brunch ready this morning was like
that was
huge.
So yeah, that was wonderful
for me.
Yeah.
So I was, you know, doing things like that. Like I don't know, just to me that's kind of the way you show a gift.
Sure.
I'm going to take a slight divergence here.
Sure.
And talk about a couple of books.
Do it, yeah.
There's the classic one that The Gift of the Magi that everybody has heard of.
Everyone knows. Everyone knows the Mickey version of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
O. Henry, was from Greensboro.
Oh.
There's a statue of that, and his he was a pharmacist pre-writing days.
Yeah.
But there's a whole statue of all this kind of stuff. And if you don't know The Gift of the Magi, it's basically they love each other desperately. They have no money. They each have one treasure. She has long, glorious hair. He has a pocket watch handed down from his grandfather. They want to share with each other. So she goes out and gets her hair cut to buy him a chain for his pocket watch. And he sells his watch to get a comb for her lovely hair. And, they give each other the gifts and they realize that it was the love that was the important part.
Yeah.
And so that's been retold 100 times. If you want a musical version, there's a North Carolina band called Squirrel Nut Zippers.
Good band.
It's a great band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you've played them.
Yes, I have played them for you. But they have a version of it.
Yeah.
That is just fantastic. But that one is about, true altruistic, what can I do for you kind of gifts.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm going to do an anti-recommendation because I feel this must be said. Is The Giving Tree.
Oh my God. Toxic.
Shel Silverstein, incredible children's author. His poetry is beautiful and stuff like that. The Giving Tree.
Missed on that.
The Giving Tree is no, do not be The Giving Tree.
It's interesting to me. I feel like everyone my age knows that that's like classic toxic. Like I'm gonna be a people pleaser and let you take absolutely everything from me until I'm literally dead. But I feel like growing up, teachers were like, "Oh my God, The Giving Tree."
It's still listed on top books to teach children generosity. And I'm like, because I went out and looked at it when we were talking about doing this today, and it's like,
it's not generosity.
That's not generosity.
Yeah. That actually makes me think of another point that I wanted to talk about.
Okay. Do you want me to do the books now or later?
Well, let me make this point about the books and then we'll go back to the books. Is feeling obligated to get a gift for someone.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm going to put a pin in that. Let's do the books. But I just want to talk on that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about one that shows the true giving and doing something for the joy of it, there's one by Vera Williams called A Chair for My Mother.
Okay.
And it starts off it's like watching movie night with me. There's a fire, the house gets destroyed.
Background, every time I watch a movie with my mother that she recommends, it's the saddest thing you've ever seen. Puppies die.
Puppies do not
People
die.
get hurt.
I do not want puppies die in movies.
It's always depressing.
No puppies die.
Sometimes it's a sneaky one where it's happy for 50 minutes and then the last 30 are just the saddest things imaginable. And you're like, wow, Mom, you picked a happy one. Oh my God. Oh my God.
They're classics.
No.
Anyway. A Chair for My Mother starts off with, this horrific event. But then the daughter goes out and the family sets up a jar and saves enough money to get a comfortable chair.
Yeah.
For the rebuild.
Uh-huh.
And it shows them the joy that they take in planning this surprise for this chair. And it's really well done. Mm-hmm. And the other one is Mole's First Christmas. This is a newer one.
Okay. I haven't heard of it.
but it's about like this little mole who
love a good mole.
Huh?
Love a good mole.
Who doesn't love a good mole story? And he finds like the perfect toadstool for his mom.
Love that.
Gonna take it home for her for Christmas.
Yeah.
And all along the way, he meets people in need.
Oh.
And he chops off little bits and little bits and little bits of the mushroom. Mm-hmm. Until when he gets home, he just has a little piece of it. Mm-hmm. And he gives it to her, and she's happy, but he's like kind of, well, Mom, I had
right.
And then she tells him that he had learned that was the best Christmas ever, or the best gift ever, because he had learned the important lessons
of like giving to
of
others.
giving. That she felt like she had taught him the important lessons on his way home.
Yeah.
So it was the best Christmas.
Interesting. It's giving tree adjacent, but not quite there.
Not quite there, because he still brings home a piece to his mom. He doesn't give it all away and say, take off my clothing.
Yeah.
Just, do what you will with me.
Oh my God. A different story. But
for a much older crowd.
Yeah. But no, I love those recommendations. I think those are very fun. I will link them, or like Barnes Noble parts of them. Yeah. So look for that in the description. But also,
it's the hazard of having a librarian for a mom.
Sure.
Is that books get recommended
most conversations. But no, back to the pin of feeling obligated to get gifts from others, and what to do about that, if anything. Like, when is it okay to feel a sense of obligation? Is it ever? These are the questions.
Well, perfect case in point. You and I had a hard time today when you went over to your company for your visit today, because raised from birth that you bring a hostess gift.
Yeah.
And that was a hard thing for us.
I was told not to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's one of those things. That's an obligation. But is it, but it's not onerous. It's just something that, it's accepted in my head. It's like, if I'm going to go visit somebody, I'm going to bring something.
It's weird because obligation has such a negative connotation in my mind. Because, like, I wouldn't have thought of that as, like, an obligation. Like, to me, obligation is like a burden.
Right.
And I know that's not the definition of the word. That's just the, like, preset feeling that I have in my head.
Right.
So, like, obligation is like, oh, this person that I, like, kind of know and will be seeing, like, on Christmas. This isn't happening this year. This is a hypothetical. It's just like, oh, I'm going to see this person, and I'm also seeing a person who I'm closer to and bringing them a gift at the same time.
Right.
Should I also bring something for the other person?
Right.
Like, I feel kind of obligated to.
I mean, back in our earlier life, I had like 5 or 6 gifts that were like generic.
Smart.
In the closet.
Yeah.
So that if somebody showed up at the house.
Easy.
That I could that was with somebody,
I
could just put their name on the gift, like,
That's smart.
It is, but it's.
But is it needed?
Is it needed? That's the thing. I mean, it's like, at one point, and this is pre everybody having Facebook.
Sure.
And when I, kept Hallmark cards in business. But I would send out 120 Christmas cards.
Right. Yeah.
As a way of touching base, and and I never did the whole like, here's my incredible year.
Throughout this year, young Margaux frolicked through fields.
Yes, she frolicked in fields, and we went to Gettysburg.
No, but Christmas cards, I don't think I ever see myself doing, but Christmas photos, always down for.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's such a cute little thing, but I would just post it on Instagram.
Right.
Like, I don't see the point of doing that.
Exactly. I think that, I think that the trappings are sometimes the obligation. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things is like when we did our little reset.
Yeah.
I think some of those fell away and we realized that those were things we didn't need to carry forward.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of have to go down your,
to be clear, just because this isn't a conversation just between us, we, at some point in our life, both of us raised as Southern women, mm-hmm. realized we didn't have to follow every traditional Southern expectation.
Exactly.
In multiple facets of our life, gift giving is only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think gifting is one of those things that when you start looking at it, mm-hmm. and saying, I want to pare out some of the rote, I must do this, I must do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I still, in the South, you tipped everybody that ever had any contact with you, mm-hmm. for Christmas.
Yeah.
As a gift. Mm-hmm. There's a couple that I still do.
Yeah.
But I don't, not everybody.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's always a nice thing, mm-hmm. to give gifts, right? Like, I don't think you're ever insulting somebody,
right.
by getting them a little something. Bottom line advice for getting the perfect gift for someone.
Yes.
I think you and I should each give that, and we'll talk about the biggest gift that rained on our parades. How about that? A little themed one. I call some people out.
Oh, I've got one.
Oh,
I've got a really good one.
Okay. All right, but first,
okay, big
advice.
The best advice I have for gift giving,
yeah,
is it's not about you.
Yeah.
I think that's a mistake a lot of people make when they buy a gift.
Yeah.
Is they're like, oh, I love that. I'm going to buy that for him.
That's a scene in Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Where Rory wants to buy Dean a book.
Uh-huh.
But Lane is like, that's like if he got you a football. Like, he doesn't want a book because that's your thing. It's not his thing. And I was like, they nailed it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing is like, I think that's a huge thing. Mm-hmm. Is like, if when you're looking at the potential gift and you're thinking, can I borrow that?
Right.
When you give it after you give them to him, how soon would you ask to borrow it? That's a clue that is not a gift for them.
See, I mostly agree unless you're very similar.
Right.
Where and this may be me trying to cover myself, in the sense of last year when I got you the milk frother for drinks, I did look at that and say, it's for her.
She shall make me lattes.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't about you making me lattes, but it was about well, this is for her, obviously. But will I also use it? Yeah. And it's ended up getting a lot of use from both of us.
Yeah.
It's a popular kitchen item for us now.
Exactly.
But yeah, the thought was there that it was
that's okay.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But it turned out very well for us. We're
having fancy coffee drinks weekly.
Exactly. But yeah, I think that's a big one. That is just to think about what you want to. What would they like? What do they? Are you buying something that they? It's not just okay. Let's pick out the trendiest thing that they might. think about something that would fit into their life.
Yeah.
If they're, if they're a nature person, get something that they can use hiking or in the car or outside. They're not going to want like a scented candle for their bathroom.
Yeah.
Because that's not who they are. It's like a person that I get gifts for regularly was always a makeup person.
Yeah.
And has, over the past couple of years, had some inflammation issues that make makeup hard. And I keep looking, I look at makeup because that was always a go-to.
Yeah.
But I have to think, okay, this is not going to fit in the person's lifestyle now.
Right.
And so I need something in a different vein.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think that's the kind of thing that you keep in your mind. Definitely. Is like, this is for them.
Yes.
What would give them joy.
Yeah.
Not just me joy giving it.
No, I like that a lot. And I think for mine, it's partially the whole like intention is what matters behind a gift. Like, don't get so wrapped up in the idea of like, and this is also just as much to me as it is to anyone else who's listening to this, is don't get so wrapped up in the idea of like, what are they getting me? How can I like match that?
Right.
Or like, how much do I need to do?
It's like, not a competition.
It's not a competition. It's not like, am I the best gift giver? Like, it's nothing about that. It's about, will they enjoy the thing I'm getting?
Right.
And so there's that. But then also a huge one that I think everyone learns at some point in their life. So this might not be good advice because it might just be something everyone already knows. But figuring out whether the person is a like items, even if it's specific items kind of person, or a like if it's going to be an item it needs to have a practical use kind of person.
Right.
Like I'm a more like practical use kind of person. I don't like too much clutter.
Right.
Because I already feel like I have too much and I want to like minimize that. In your case, you're not like a huge like item person, but you're a huge books person.
Right.
Where it's like, that is a specific, it doesn't matter if you like didn't have any room in the world. We have books everywhere in our home because of it. And that's totally fine. It's just that it's
not
like,
hoarding if it's books.
That seems like a coping sentence, but I'll give
you it. Probably, but it's my profession and my passion.
Yeah, and so but that's what I'm saying is it's like if like neither one of us are like a huge person where it would be like we just like buy you this random thing. Right. Like it would have to like fit into some practical use in our life. And books, while an item, does have a practical use in our life.
I would like to get to the point where items are not as important as experiences.
Yeah. Like I think experiences, wonderful.
Yeah.
Not everyone does those.
No.
Some people are much more, I would rather an item than an experience.
Right.
And like I get that to a degree because the perfect experience that I could get would also include me planning it.
Right.
Because like I'm a big planner.
Exactly.
And I like to know all the aspects of it. But regardless, one example is for my boyfriend this year for his birthday. One of the gifts that I got him, they weren't all like this, but one of the gifts that I got him was a kitchen trash can, which is not romantic or like,
no, it was God, cute trying to watch you carry it.
It was so big. It was like, but like every time that I went over there before that, like the trash can that he had at his place was broken and like it would annoy him all the time.
Right.
And so like a working like a trash can with a working lid, that it was just easy because he cooks a lot. Like, he's also a big practical gift person. And that was a conversation we had where I was like, and I think he kind of knew that was what I was getting at when I was asking it, of like, do you want something more like, oh, this is just like an everyday home use, but like that was something that like he really appreciated, because like, now every day he's like, this is better. Like,
right. Well, I mean, you know, and that's kind of feeding into that part of you that likes to receive, like that whole acts of service thing. It was something that, you know, okay, this makes his life easier.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's not like, you know, a book of poetry, which while he might appreciate it and romantic, is not going to serve him as well when he's making pasta for dinner.
Yeah. And it's like I think I prefer the same types of gifts that he does, where it's like some like cute items, absolutely love it. Like, definitely adore it. He got me both like little dinosaur earrings and like a dinosaur plushie from the Jurassic Park cartoon, which everyone should watch. But which I love, absolutely adore. And I think they're also very high up there in gifts, because it was very, very personalized to like me, but also like what we'd been like discussing or doing. Like they were just very, very fun and wonderful. But like I think I also like, neither one of those are huge in my way kind of things. But if it's going to be like a bigger thing or something I have to like lug around or anything, I want it to have a use. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely warranted. I mean, there was in one of my books years ago, I read, it was talking about romance.
Yeah.
But it can equally apply to gift giving. It's like, you know, having someone who can like quote poetry is beautiful.
Right.
But having someone who remembers to bring an umbrella when it's about to rain.
Yeah.
That's also.
Exactly.
And, you know, that is probably preferable.
Yeah. And but to be clear,
I like the poetry, but I also appreciate the umbrella.
Right.
And so I think that's what you have to look for when you're trying to buy gifts for people is you want it to have the whimsy but that whimsy has to be tailored to the person that you're their needs and uses and things like that.
Yeah. And like if I think figuring out for the person would they rather the umbrella or poetry in that example, because there are people absolutely who would prefer the poetry, like 100% of the time, and that's wonderful,
right? And
but
so
you have to
think about that. It's like, you know, or if they want to combine it and, you know, want a pink polka dot umbrella,
right,
then you give them the whimsy with the polka dots and the practicality with the umbrella. You just make it fit.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay, so what gift has rained on your parade in your life?
When I think I was about 20.
Okay.
Newly engaged. And we go to my dad's.
Oh my God, I know this story.
We go to my dad's house for Christmas. And my beloved father.
Sweet man,
very Southern gentleman.
Yeah.
Was so happy because he'd got the best gift in the world. He goes, Alice Jean, you're gonna like this. And he pulls out like it's huge and sets it in front of me. And I'm thinking, you know, because it looked like a frame. So I was thinking like
beautiful art,
like, or a mirror or something.
Something fun.
You know, something French looking.
Yeah.
So I take off the paper And it's a picture of 16-year-old me in a prom dress with a god-awful hairstyle that had been curled beyond and hairspray, which I never wear hairspray.
No, you hate it.
I hate it. And 16-year-old me, and it's half the size of my body. It's like this tall.
I wish you had it. Like, I wish you still had it,
Very Southern, very Christian family.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, oh, fucking hell.
Right in front of your dad.
Right in front of my dad and my fiance.
Sure.
And I'm just like, so yeah, that is a memorable rain on my parade gift.
Yeah. Please don't get me a big frame of me in my prom dresses. Or any big frame of me.
Noted.
Not a fan. Thank you.
I will take that off the list.
I appreciate it. I know it was rumbling around in that years.
Definitely rumbling around.
Yeah. Let's see. I haven't had anything that bad. To be clear, I should have gone first. Yours is way worse. I guess at some point, one of my friends got me an expansion pack for a game that he had. So like I couldn't, like, the expansion pack wasn't something you can like play without the game. And so yeah, it was like, it's essentially like, well, this is for you. And so like I remember like after getting it, I was like, oh, that's so sweet, thank you. Do you want to take it home with you? Because I can't play it. Like, this is gotta be with the game. I said it nicer than that, but like, yeah. So it's
that idea of
of getting things for yourself.
Yeah, getting something for yourself that you give to somebody.
To be clear, I love the game. The expansion pack was really cool, but it was just like I have to, like, this has got to stay with the game because I can't
play it without
it. Yeah, like, this is ultimately just some figurines. Like, this is nothing, like, that I can do, like, so it was like, well, you take those back with you and we'll play it sometime.
My God.
Yeah. Still not a big portrait of myself.
Yeah, that was horrifying.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's right.
That's true.
Moved on.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a great story out of it.
You do. Absolutely. Really wish you'd kept it.
No.
It sounds like art.
Definitely not art.
Right.
Definitely not art.
Well, thanks for coming on and kicking off the holiday season to talk about gifts with me.
Happy gifting to all.
Happy gifting to all. Don't, in general, get portraits of other people for them. I feel like that's an easy rule, right?
I think that's an easy rule. Yeah.
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 And
don't buy a present for yourself, but then pass it off as a gift to someone.
Yeah, don't do that. Oh, yikes. Yeah, so be conscious of your gift giving.
Don't fall into consumerism.
Yeah, remember that, like, it's, like, and obviously this isn't true for everyone, like we've been saying, but, like, a letter goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's something I've said for, like, a lot of holidays when people ask me, it's like, maybe you can just send me a letter.
Acknowledging. A gift is an acknowledgement that somebody matters to you. So it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to fit in a box.
Exactly. Yeah. So, alrighty. That's all I can think of.
Exactly.
And have a sunny Wednesday.
Bye.